What is up, Rap Potential YouTube? Welcome to today's video. So, this is not a rap informational video. In fact, we're still preparing for that video on Monday, so get stoked for that one. We're going to start putting things on the interior video. So, one of the most awesome things about working on cars, right, is seeing the instant gratification of installing new aesthetic parts to your car. So, these lovely door panels, LRB speed, super slick. We're going to get these installed on the car. They look awesome off the car. They should look even more awesome now that the door is all painted all the way around the outside. So when I put the door panel on, it should look mint. The next step, which you saw in the last video, me complaining about, is this LRB center console. And, you know, in hindsight, is it a bad piece? No. Would I tell you not to buy it? No. Definitely a good thing. Definitely easy. Save you a ton of time making it yourself. But just understand, some things are a pain in the butt. This, we're also going to install today, too. The dash thingy McJanger. So I got the other one. You know, kind of the whole YouTuber thing, right? I kind of figured out what I needed to do before I'm going to film the video. So I got this side installed. The little bracket, I had to use a different screw than the OEM ones. I got the center mount bits almost installed, so that little clip there and that little clip there, and then I got to do that other side, which is going to be more of a pain because there's the cluster in the way. Then, in the midst of all that, we are going to be drilling the center console. You're like, oh, you got such a nice looking thing here, why are you going to cut it up? Well, I need my main power switch in here, and then I need my switches for my off-road lights, my service lights, and this car is a clutch fan, so I won't have fans. What was the last one? My air horn switch, because I won't have an actual horn. I'll just have a button in the dash or something. And then we got to get the fuse panel for all of that, which is this little guy, little 6 fuse Amazon special. You can get these waterproof ones, which is what this is. It's all decked out. Really nice piece for, I don't know, pretty cheap. So comes with fuses, 6 spots, that. You get a nice little like sticker thing to show you what all you got on there to turn on. The other thing, and I had this on the yellow car, this is clutch. You got to have these on a race car, especially if you're doing rally. You need services. You're going to work on your car really fast. You need service lights, okay? So these are rock lights for a pickup truck. They're very heavy duty, nice metal casing, LEDs, so they don't use much power. You don't have to run a crazy switch or a fuse, and in reality I don't really have to even run a fuse for them because they're LED. They don't draw that much current, but we will. And I have 4 of them, and I'm going to mount 2 of them. One of them is going to be right here, but on the inside. So up on the B pillar shining down, the other side on the B pillar shining down. I haven't decided yet. I think I want to put one in the engine bay, and then I'm toying with the fact of putting one up here, like a dome light. Generally the co-driver, in my other car I had like a map light mounted to the cage that swung down so my dad could read the notes at night. This light would obviously be super bright. I mean, I could mount one over here, but for a driver it's way too much light to be able to see out of the car. So the other place that I've been thinking about mounting the second, because I got 4 of them, the other 2, is putting both of them on the firewall. So I think that there's definitely some value in having one of these rock lights, say like right here, and then also having another one of the rock lights on the other side. Now, like I said, I don't know. Maybe the mod for out here would be to Velcro them to the firewall so that you could remove them and swing them around, you know, and then put them back on. Or maybe Velcro one of them and like leave some wire coiled up next to it. Maybe zip tie it in the corner with a bunch of wire. So that way, should you need to service your car, you can pop the zip tie or the bungee or the whatever off and then wing the light around to service it. So I'll dream that up here in a second. I got to get the wires pulled for those. The fuse panel will go in the glove box. I'm actually just going to mount it to the glove box itself. So this whole bit, right? I mean, I had to chop it to fit the cage. So this panel will probably just get mounted right here. You can pull the cap off of it still. The wires will be all tucked nicely in there. This can still close. And then you can keep, you know, whatever other things in there. So that little 5-minute discussion is going to be what I'm doing in this video. So get stoked for a super satisfactory time lapse right now. We're going to get these door panels installed, the dash fin installed, the center console installed. Probably won't have all the wiring ran for the switches, but we will mount all the lights and get those wired up here today. I still need to find off-road lights for the front and get some air horns ordered for this thing, because you can't have a rally car if you don't have air horns. So we got to get those installed as well. And then ideally, I can get the majority of the bottom of this dash buttoned up here today once I've gotten all these wires pulled and ran. So we got a whole bunch of red wire to run, and I'm not too stoked about it, but we're going to get it done. So let's get cracking. Righty, dudes, get stoked for how good all of this looks. Although the B-roll stuff, some of it you saw is after I just finished all of this because, well, I didn't want to interrupt you guys twice. So I wanted to show you this, or I guess we'll say interrupt you now to show you this, and then I'm going to keep working on some wiring stuff so I can show you my lights, and then, yeah. Either way. Okay, so LRB speed stuff, specifically the dash defroster. They give you this, alright, which is a Allen key that's cut, okay? Fairly rudimentary tool. Now, you're going to see that this Allen key barely fits in here. Alright, and you got to do this a quarter of a turn a time, barely, right? And then your hands are going to get tired because you can't, and then you do that, and then you gotta grab it again. And then unless you build RC cars, like, for your entire life, and you have the hand strength to put together tiny nuts and bolts, you're going to get frustrated, like me. And yeah, okay, so now you're seeing that you can see how long it's taken me, and I have only done maybe a half a turn on this screw. Alright, I did that 3 other times. For that one. And I had to loosen that one a little bit and loosen this one so I could get this one in. This is a real pain in my butt. Just saying. But anyways, it looks sick in there though. The door panels look sick. Everything's looking fire. I got my switch panel built right here. Look at this. Looking nice. How about that? We're going to have service lights and for off-road lights, and I don't know what my other switch is for, but it's for something. And I have 3 of them, so we hooked up all 3. We got all sorts of stuff going on. I mean, I think I did a pretty good job here. The other thing to comment on, the LRB speed stuff. So I measured the distance between the vent thing here, which is pretty much straight, your HVAC controls down, and this hole on the right is 4 inches. Now, the hole on the left, I don't even have to get it that close. You can noticeably see that that's maybe 3 3/4. So those 2 holes now, how they have it fabbed up, I don't think that there's a difference in height inside the car. Notice the distance is here and here, about the same 1 finger, about the same 1 finger. You know, so plus or minus, no big deal, right? They give you these long screws to put in there. You can cock it to make it work, but aesthetically, like, I was holding this thing up. Don't get me wrong, I didn't get my switches perfectly straight, so don't look too hard at my switches across to there. But you can noticeably tell that left bolt is higher than the right one. So, anyways, that's that here. I'll set this in here for you guys too, even though you just saw it all in there. So this is gonna go something like this, I think. I don't know. I'm hesitant to just Schwartz this thing in here because, well, I really don't want to break it. I'm fixing to believe that it's going to sit something like that. I mean, I can't expect it to go super much tighter. Oh, I just smashed the... Oh, okay, good. We didn't break the vents. Can't break my vents. But anyways, something like this. Honestly, not too stoked. I'll make it fit as good as I can, but which you've already seen it already fitted. Anyways, not too stoked. So here in a second, I'm going to cut to, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to hook up the rock lights and show you guys how bright they are because they are sick. So we're going to work on that. But in between now and then, you're going to see me, or not see me do any of this, but I'm going to get this thing fitted up reasonably decent and hook up some wires. So we'll see how that goes. Fuse block is mounted as well. I mounted it from the bottom. So easy access right here. I'll have a cover on it. The cover will have all the labels. You can replace fuses. Easy peasy. So yeah, that's my frustration. For the next 3 seconds of your video, it's going to be me fighting this dash vent for probably 40 minutes. So enjoy that if you buy one. Get stoked. Alright guys, so we have finished the install of the defrost vents. It's cumbersome and frustrating, but it's done. I would not expect, unless you're super determined, really small hands, and are a magician at getting screws started without being able to put your head anywhere near the screws, that you would be able to get this done in any sort of like timely manner. So, as you just saw too earlier, I just decided not to. I just included the lights in the thingy. Anyways, check out the rock lights, guys. So, as you saw, super bright. All right, and on my yellow car, I just had like regular incandescent, like halogen bulbs up there, just regular, whatever, yellow ones, not LED, and they were plenty bright for the inside of the car at night. One of the things that's clutch about this is that if the car dies, if you wad yourself up, if you do something dumb, drop your pen, your code drive, whatever, right? You kick these lights on, instantly light up the whole interior. I feel like that's something a lot of people skip out on, especially in a race car, is that they'll rip the dome lights out, rip all that wiring out, rip everything out in the function of saving weight, right? So I can tell you from my experience, having your interior service lights, sorry for shaking the camera, having your interior service lights is huge because it just makes everything easier to do. And these little rock lights, I think there's $40 for a set of 4. They're like indestructible. I'm literally going to mount these. There was an existing hole that I used with a screw, and I'm going to put a zip screw in the bottom one, and that's where they're going to ground. So then you only have to run a positive wire to each one. So it's super easy. I mean, you can't beat it. So, and then for the front, you're going to see in the next video on the rally car is that I'm thinking I'm going to build a pretty neat little bracket to hold this light in the front, okay? So what I'm thinking is I'm going to take a plate and I'm going to weld a little plate or make a plate that has one bolt hole in it, okay? That bolt hole is going to mount somewhere in the engine bay, just to the firewall or whatever, right? Then I'm going to weld a bolt here that sticks up and a bolt here that sticks up, okay? 2 studs, same distance apart that the rock light is, so the rock light can slide on there and you're good. Then I'm going to get a wing nut for each one, here and here, and the wing nuts plus that stud, what you'll do, just wait, I'm going to blow your mind. You're going to take the wire that runs the rock light, because I want it to be mobile. If you remember, like, shout out to my buddies Zach and Vinny for remembering this and knowing this. Older Chevys had an under hood light you could unhook and had a bunch of wire in it, right? So you're going to take all the wire, I'll probably give you 3 to 5 feet of wiring, all loomed up and nice and pretty. That wire will come out wherever this is, so you'll have your wire here. You can wrap all the wiring up, slide the rock light on, wing nut it down. The rock light itself holds the wiring in place. The wing nuts keep the light there. Now, what I think I'm also going to do is go ahead and take some safety wire, and it's going to make it hard. I guess that's going to make it hard to operate the wing nuts. I was going to safety wire the wing nuts to this, like a little hole here, and bring it out and hook it to the wing nut little hole here, bring it out, hook it to the wing nut, such that you can't lose them, but I think you're just going to have to not lose the wing nuts. So either way, that'll do that. Or, oh, even better idea, blew my mind. If I just take these 2 studs, leave the 2 studs there, and put a piece of Velcro behind the bracket so that you just shove the rock light down, Velcro it on. Done. No wing nuts. The studs just hold it, and that holds all the wiring. Oh, kidneys. I think I can just use one of those little like cable organizers for underneath your computer desk. So, anyways, that's that. I got 2 more rock lights to install, and I think I'm going to do one of them on a bracket like that up here in the engine bay, and then I'm going to do another one on a bracket like that maybe back here. You never know, you might need to get it out, might need to get the rock light out to change a tire. I think, that would be huge to come out here and you could hold it. Like I said, the key thing when you're rallying, and this is the thing you learned in this video, when you're rallying, convenience is key. When you're in a full-blown 3-piece race suit, your co-driver's driving, you put yourself in the ditch, you got to figure out a way to get yourself out. The last thing you're thinking about is a flashlight. You don't want to have to get a flashlight out. You want to be able to hit a light, grab what you need to go, or hit a switch, grab what you need to do, and get it done. So that's the purpose of these lights. I think it's going to be huge. There was, I can't attribute this idea to, coming from my brain, right? Obviously, the rock light part coming from my brain. But my buddy Patrick's car, which was a race car built by Larry Schmidt back in the 80s. It's a 1984 Dodge Colt, or 86 Dodge Colt, whatever year it is, Dodge Colt. If I can find a picture of it, I'll put it in. The Dodge Colt I'm pretty sure they came from a Datsun, and this is where I need you guys' help. Pretty sure it came from a Datsun. There was like a little torpedo light that was mounted, and you did a quarter turn, it popped out, the switch on the back of it, okay? And that little switch light thing had maybe 3 feet of cable, and I think they had them in the engine bay on the Datsuns. I could be wrong, but somebody who knows Datsuns, tell me. And anyways, Patrick's rally car, i.e. the one built by Larry Schmidt, had one of those lights in the trunk and one of those lights in the front, and then it also maintained a service light feature which lit up the cabin. And I just thought it was epic. It was so handy because we're out being hood rats, running running electricity. So like your giant, quick story, the giant huge towers in the sky that hold your electric lines, right? Big linear stuff. There would be access roads down all through that, closed off to the public, et cetera, right? We were in Mexico. And we'd take the rally cars out for testing, and those roads are pretty rough, dirt roads. They're generally, you can get to them somewhere in Nashville here around town. And we'd go out, we'd unload the rally cars at the gas station or at a Kmart or something, off the trailers, get down into those right-of-ways, those big overhead wire, right-of-ways, the easements, and just start running them down these roads. And we had, had some accidents, overheated some cars, did some deals, you know the deal. And those lights came in super handy. So that's the long story about the lights. But anyways, I'm going to leave you guys off there. I am so stoked with how the interior in this car is coming out. I didn't get to be putting all the dash stuff in because I didn't have the right connectors to hook up to my main power to run my fuse blocks. So I got to make a quick trip, but I can get that wiring done. And in this video, getting these LRB things installed is just the door panels went on awesome. No big deal. Super easy. They're great. They don't rattle. They don't rattle any more than a metal-on-metal door panel should. The center console, you saw there, I've got it fit in here fairly well now. But dang, it just, and maybe the dashes are different, right? The one he designed it to what I designed, or to what I have is different, whatever. But it's just not exactly the most perfectly cut piece. And $90. So you're not expecting like a $300 center console, made out of carbon fiber that just fits perfectly or something. But even then, to cut it out on a laser like that, you should be able to get it pretty dang close. If not, leave it a little loose so you got room to play with. Because I wouldn't want this in my street car. It's just not the right look for a street car. There's too many gaps around stuff, and the clock doesn't fit right, and it's just not for a street car. The dash thing up here, I wouldn't mind putting a black one in on a street car, but I ain't going to be doing it myself, and I'll pay somebody to do it because that took me forever to get done. But just kidding, I would probably end up doing it myself, but looks sick. So the dog's tired, I'm tired, it's really late, I still got to edit this video, and want to give you guys a mad thanks for watching the videos. for subscribing to the channel, for commenting, because asking me questions, giving me good prompts to do more videos on stuff is huge. And get stoked for that. And also get stoked, 2 weeks, not this weekend, but the next weekend, your boy JC's getting married. So I'm going to take a couple days off for that, and then we'll be right back to it. So thank you guys very much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Keep it rad.